welcome back to the FPL. This is the final battle of Week 3. I am Charlie, captain of the Toxboxers. I'm here with Jules, captain of the Go-Goats.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
And let's just get right into this one. For our last battle of this week, we've got Robbie, captain of House of Commons, versus captain of the Vernal Equinox, Ren. And this is definitely a pretty high-powered matchup on both sides. Both sides have Pokemon that potentially have the ability to just roll the other person's team.
Yeah, you want to talk about one of your favorite Pokemon?
Yeah, one of
CLOYSTER matchup.
CLOYSTER is one of my all-time favorite Pokemon. And if you look at CLOYSTER carries super effective coverage between Icicle Spear and Rock Blast for every single Pokemon on Robbie's team other than Quagsire and Kecleon. So CLOYSTER carrying HP Grass is definitely a fourth move that you can put on it. I know Quagsire is probably running Unaware. But HP Grass is going to hit Quagsire really hard anyway. Most likely is going to two-shot it. So a CLOYSTER running HP Grass is going to face little to no resistance against this House of Commons team. Now, whether or not it is actually running that move, we'll see. Sometimes CLOYSTERs take Liquidation or Hydro Pump. But an HP Grass could definitely put in work against Robbie's team here. The only thing that could potentially stand up to it is this Kecleon, but Kecleon's physical defense is not very good. So barring a Sucker Punch or a Shadow Sneak, Kecleon might just face the same fate as all these other Pokemon and just get one-tapped by an Icicle Spear.
Yeah, now on the other side, we do have Robbie with the potential Mega Altaria sweep. The stab, like physical return with Pixelate, turning into a fairy move, is looking pretty good this week. It hits almost everything either super effective or neutrally except for Torkoal, and it has Earthquake. So the two things that counter it, Torkoal and Sandaconda, don't really threaten too much in return, so Ren has to be very careful with this Mega Altaria just taking the game away.
Yeah, absolutely, and maybe like a special coverage, like a Fire Blast or something, could be good against CLOYSTER, although if you're just set up and your max attack, a return is probably going to do about the same amount to it. The only thing that I can maybe see standing up to it on Ren's team is like you said, a Torkoal, maybe surviving one Earthquake or an Outrage and hitting it with a Will-O-Wisp or a Yawn maybe. But outside of that, if this Altaria gets rolling, it's going to be really, really tough for Ren to stop it. But the last thing that I want to talk about is Thundurus. Thundurus Therian, I'm pretty sure the first time it's ever been used in an FPL battle. I don't think we've ever seen it before. Scolipede is also not one that we see very frequently, but this is the first time Thundurus has ever been used.
Yeah, and we'll see how Robbie uses it. It doesn't really have any, humongously great switch-ins this week because it does have that Volt Absorb ability that it wants to take advantage of, but it hits Ren's team decently. It does get resisted by quite a few things though, resisted by both the dragons and by the Sandaconda. But yeah, we'll see how Robbie uses it. Of course, its special attack is way up there, so it definitely has potential to knock out some Pokemon.
Yeah, it usually carries coverage moves too, like Grass Knot and Focus Blast, so it can definitely hit those Pokemon. Now, whether or not something like Focus Blast hits, or if Grass Knot's going to do enough damage, you never know, but it definitely does carry answers for those.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, let's see how it does and get into the battle. So right off the bat, we see it actually start as a lead against the CLOYSTER. So I'm going to assume the CLOYSTER just needs to get out of there. And there's the Grass Knot. You got to wonder why he didn't just go for a Thunderbolt right away, but maybe he was expecting a Sandaconda switch.
Yeah, I think he was reading the Sandaconda switch there, but gets the read wrong, but still has a good switch here, so.
Yeah, now that hard switch leads me to believe that he's either Specs or Scarf, or is not carrying Volt Switch. So he just hard switches straight out into Quagsire and gets a Toxic off on the Mega Latios, which is definitely valuable this game. So here we see Kecleon come in, and it's gonna take very little damage from whatever this Latios does. The Spadef drop is unfortunate, but Kecleon is so specially bulky.
And he might be running Assault Vest as well. I'm not sure.
No, Robbie definitely likes using the Assault Vest set. And even with the Spadef drop, doesn't even take 50% of its HP from the from the Psychic.
Yeah.
Now, you got to imagine that this Machamp is Bullet Punch, yeah, so it's not going to live through that one, but it did enough to the Mega Latios, I think, for Robbie to be happy with it.
And here comes the threat.
Yeah, now the Mega Evolution right away is a bit risky. Obviously, it paid off here because he went for a Dynamic Punch instead of a Bullet Punch right away. But the confusion might come back to bite him here. You never know. But he's able to get the Roost off, and
he does get through it, but he ends up switching out.
Switches out immediately, huh?
You think he would have at least maybe gone for the return Pixelate, but.
Yeah, now he does get a pretty favorable matchup right here into the Cloysters. It can't really set up on Quagsire, so Quag's just able to click Toxic. It misses, but it doesn't matter because Latios is Toxic anyway. So he just clicks Protect here, maybe for some scouting, but Ren is actually able to read it and go for a Roost.
Yeah, that's the thing about Mega Latios. It is, it has Roost like Latios, but it is just so much more bulky. You're getting, so much more effective HP back. That even with the Toxic, you still have to be careful, that Pokemon isn't just going to die by itself if it's able to Roost up.
Yeah, now the Draco miss is unfortunate, but he just clicked Recover anyway, so I guess both kind of essentially missed. But Torkoal not running Drought is really interesting. You got to wonder why he's not. Maybe it's to avoid powering down Cloyster, maybe like a Hydro Pump or a Liquidation, but Robbie does opt to stay in and click Toxic, allowing the Quagsire to go to sleep, and now his only real counter to this Cloyster is a Sleep. So we'll see how he plays around this now.
Yeah, even with a defensive Quagsire, I guess it's unaware, so Icicle Spear isn't going to be doing that much.
Yeah, and this is where you would have, like I said earlier, liked to maybe see an HP Grass. That's definitely what I would have brought in this battle, but the unaware is going to, unless he gets 3 turns sleeped, and he just hard switches because he doesn't want to take much toxic damage there. I think he's identified how good Cloyster is into this matchup, and is maybe hoping to set up on something else. Now, I don't know what else he would set up on in this battle, but either way, Robbie's able to get enough damage on it and is able to wall it for it to not really matter anymore.
And Ren is playing really well with his Mega Latios so far.
Other than forgetting the immunity.
That is unfortunate, because he was doing really well dancing around, getting the Roost, getting the recovery back up so it's at full, but that might just cost him a lot, because now Robbie gets a free Dragon Dance, and this is what we said Ren is dreading this whole battle, is this Dragon Dance.
I'm not sure what Hyper Voice is for. Maybe it's for Cloyster? But
yeah, it makes sense for Cloyster does have 200 something or 180 defense, so
yeah, you gotta think that an invested boosted return would probably do a comparable amount, but Hyper Voice is able to pick up the 2-hit KO on Sandaconda. It can probably one-shot Cloyster, so I think it's definitely not. I wouldn't call it a mistake. I would probably run it differently, but it's definitely not a problem at all. Cloyster is able to come in and pick up the kill on the paralyzed Altaria, but it is so chipped down at this point, it's going to be really tough for it to do anything. Now he's running U-turn rather than Volt Switch. Maybe it's to try to get a switching move off on Sandaconda at some point.
I think that must have been it.
Yeah, but I probably would have put Volt Switch on that. But either way, this Cloyster cannot touch Quagsire. It's either going to have to switch out or just be content to keep hitting it until it dies of Toxic. But with these recovers, that Shell Smash isn't going to do anything. Maybe he just wants the speed if he somehow crits 5 times in a row and kills Quagsire. But I think Robbie's just going to click Recover here. Or just click Earthquake and kill it, maybe predicting a switch. But Robbie's in a pretty advantageous spot right now. There's not Leaf only, or not Leaf, sorry, I keep saying Leaf. Ren only has 2 Pokemon left, and Scolipede just absolutely demolishes one of them, so...
Well, huge Black Hole Eclipse.
Yeah, no, that is... I don't know if I would have sacked Quagsire there. It still does pretty well into Machamp, but it looks like a Choice Scarf's Roserade is going to clean this one up for Robbie. The Choice Scarf is definitely a really solid bring on Roserade. I think the biggest issue with Roserade is that its speed is not quite able to make up for its bad physical defense, but putting a scarf on it and letting its 145 base, 135, I don't know, it's one something base special attack just do work. So Robbie's able to pretty cleanly pick up a win this battle.
Yeah, I mean, he was a little, dancing around the Cloyster as he should, but in the end, the Quagsire was just too much, and
Yep.
Yeah.
I really think Ren needed to bring grass coverage on that Cloyster, and just didn't. Maybe he forgot about it. Maybe he didn't think it was necessary. Maybe he had it on some other Pokemon and was just going to try to KO it that way. But yeah, Robbie did a great job walling the Cloyster and picks up his first win of the season.
Wow. All right. Yeah, exciting stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.